truly is kind of abstract, especially when you're in an airplane and you see the world from above. Life just looks very different, and you also realize that your problems, everything that you're facing in your life, as big as it might feel, is actually very small and almost insignificant when you look at it in a way like that. So I also hope that there's a perspective change of how we interact with this life, and that we look after the world that we're living in and keep it beautiful. I'm Werner Bronkhorst. I'm a South African-born Australian artist, and I make contemporary artworks. I'm really happy that you think it reminds you of your childhood and of experiences that you've lived, because my artworks are all about life and the life that we live, the activities that we do when we're chilling, when we're happy, when we're exercising, when we're doing things that make us happy. And I think by painting these artworks, not only do I live those experiences and have to live those experiences, like having to go sailing to understand how to paint these artworks, but I also feel like it takes you back to those memories, and it kind of freezes it in those moments in a painting, which can be seen hopefully forever. So I'm really happy that you like the artworks. Throughout my childhood, my parents encouraged me to do any and every sport possible and to enjoy anything and everything around us. And that is why with these artworks, I aim to paint different scenes, whether it is in the snowy mountains, in the water, in the ocean, or just out on the green fields. And with this collection, it is a retrospective exhibition. So it is works from the past 2 years that I've created, and of all the collections that I've created that resonate with different audiences, but also just show different ways that we interact with this world. I always say that the whole world's a canvas and we're just walking in it, and I try and paint every canvas that we walk in. Cool. I think that was good. My style is pretty unique because obviously I paint miniature people with very fine detail on a more abstract colored background with a rich texture. And this came about because throughout high school I was painting a lot of small paintings the size of a coin on watercolor paper. So it was fine detail of objects or places or people that I would paint on these things that I could take anywhere and everywhere. But I also loved painting big and abstract artworks with a lot of paint. I just never really mixed the two until I came to Australia, because I started making furniture, and to cover this furniture in a plastery thing, it gave it a lot more texture. And with the leftover plaster that I used, and of course the offcuts of wood, I mixed the two, and it ended up having these canvases that were very textured. It looked like snowy mountains. And so on those snowy mountains, I decided to paint tiny figures that were skiing, and it just made sense. It looked like us in this big world, and I kept on painting skiers, snowboarders, and then every collection from there on was just completely different. Yes, I'm luckily blessed enough to be the dad of 2 wonderful kids, and they're still very young. Florence is now 2.5 years old, and Loki is about to turn 1 year old. And I feel like ever since they were born, I've seen life through a very different perspective. You all of a sudden become aware of the smallest things that to you would be so oblivious of, but now a window becomes something to look at, and birds in the sky, you all of a sudden have to point it out to your child, or your child points it out to you. And so I've had this perspective of looking at life very differently, and what once was big is all of a sudden small to me as an adult, but to my child, a big car is a big car, and a big human is a big human, and I think that is amazing, where with my artworks I'm making big things small and small things big, and that perspective change is exactly what I feel I have with my children. I think I've always been a very observing kid. The world around me fascinates me, and I love looking at the small details and looking at the things that people would otherwise normally miss. So for me, my artworks are really about capturing those small things and those small moments that otherwise would just pass us by. I think my fascination and love for photography has aided me a lot because I love seeing how people have captured the world. And for me as an artist, I'm also capturing the world in a very different way, and I'm painting that world. And I say world because in essence, even though these are abstract paintings, it does portray the world. It portrays a green field or a blue ocean. And I think that this philosophy of painting this world and painting us in this world, interacting with the world and making this big abstract world seem colorful and beautiful, that is what I love doing. It's a very good question. I love observing small moments and small things, but I also love just experiencing the world for what it is. I'm painting the world, I'm painting people interacting with the world, and I love also interacting with the world myself. I love swimming, I love sailing, I love being out on the water and being on a boat. I love everything that I paint. And so for me, it's important to also not just paint. I also need to be interacting with the world. I need to be a person who experiences the things that I paint. And I think that that also makes me appreciative of life in general and of the paintings that I make. Don't know if I actually answered the question correctly. Okay. Yeah, so the colors that I use not only portray a green field or blue water, but the pigments that I use are very much, I don't know, calming. It's toned down and it's very easy on the eyes. I think that not only as an artist do I have an eye for aesthetics or just a love for something that is simple and beautiful, but color obviously plays a big role in that. So I try and have the colors be beautiful and simple and not too crazy, not too wild, just calming. And I hope that people feel calm whenever they look at the artworks. As chaotic as some of them can be, I just feel a sense of zen. So when I look at my artworks, I feel very happy. And I really hope that people also feel happy when they look at these artworks. And when you have that connection with an artwork and when you feel like you are in that artwork, I hope that they also realize that they are in an artwork, they are in this big, beautiful world that truly is kind of abstract, especially when you're in an airplane and you see the world from above. Life just looks very different. And you also realize that your problems, everything that you're facing in your life, as big as it might feel, is actually very small and almost insignificant when you look at it in a way like that. So I also hope that there's a perspective change of how we interact with this life and that we look after the world that we're living in and keep it beautiful. So I've always loved playing around with paint and different media, whether it is oil paint, acrylic paint, charcoal sticks, soft pastels, anything and everything that I could get my hands on, I would use and make artworks. And so for that reason, I don't think I'll just stop at this. The reason I make these textured paintings with small people is because I have spent 10 years playing around with other media. And I'll keep on doing that. I would love to paint portraits of people, but using this thick paint and making something completely new and fresh. I would love to keep on evolving my charcoal style and keep on drawing things, but in new ways. But I have so many ideas and there are so many things that I would love to explore and keep on making. Where I see myself going in the next 5 or 10 years, not only with my artworks, but who I am and what I do and why I create, I think I'll keep on making artworks, not only because I love it, but because I feel the responsibility to make artworks. This is my life, this is my talent, and I want to use it. But I also know that the reason for that will change and the things that I paint will change. And everything that I see, everything that I experience, everything that I live through will affect my artworks. And I can only imagine what that would be, but I have no idea. And I'm just excited to experience it and to therefore make the artworks. But yeah, there's no way of knowing. 감사합니다. Yeah, thank you.